Hey traders, John Howell here. Today, I actually want to just share with you some trades that I've taken in the last 24 hours, and I want to walk you through my thinking behind it and why I got into it and how I managed it and so on and so forth. In fact, I just literally got out of a trade on, you can see the S&P 500 here. It's actually still moving right now, so we've still got about 10 minutes to close, but I just got out of a trade just recently. Plus also I did a trade yesterday on the S&P 500 futures, so I want to just share that with you. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let me get straight into it. So again, the purpose of this video is I want to share with you my thinking behind some of my trades that I take and how I view the markets. Now, the very first thing that I'm always looking at is I'm always looking at the trend on a higher time frame. So if I'm trading a 5-minute chart or even down to a 1-minute chart, which I actually did just recently, I traded this here. I'll share with you why I traded it in just a minute. But the thing that the number one thing I'm always looking at is that if I trade a 1-minute chart, a 2-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, I'm always going to my 15-minute chart and possibly even the 60-minute chart to see where the bigger trend is. That's very, very, very key. Now, yes, as you know, when I'm trading the daily charts for stocks, I'm looking at the weekly chart for the higher time frame trend. So I've actually just done my scans throughout the entire stock market as well too today. Again, you can actually see this is actually about to close in just about 9 minutes now. But the thing is that this, by the way, traders, this is a 15-minute chart to the left, and then to the right this is actually a 1-minute chart moving right now. And the thing is, traders, is that again, the number one thing is that you want to be making sure that if you're trading shorter term charts, 1-minute charts, 5-minute charts, 2-minute charts, always use a 15-minute chart to see where the bigger trend is, because you never want to be trading against that trend. And so, for example, you always want to be trading with that trend. So let me just share with you here. So the trade that I took just recently, and then I also shared with you 2 trades that I took last night as well too. Now this is my time, Australia time, so I get up first thing in the morning. As you can see, it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning now. Down the bottom here. So when I say last night, that's like, probably a couple hours before the market opens up. So anyway, so the very first thing I'm looking to see where is the actual trend on the chart. And as you can see, I have a moving average on the chart here. My main moving average that I use is a 52 moving average. I use it just on every single chart. I know I could say, okay, anyway, most of the time I'm using a 52 moving average, but then sometimes I'm looking to drill down a bit more into the 20 and the 9. They're more for shorter term plays, but the 52 gives me an overall longer term sort of trend. And as you can see, look what happened here, right? Came up, actually rejected right off the 52 on this 1-minute chart on the S&P, and then broke down. So let me just share with you here. So what happened just recently, the reason why I took a trade just recently, the first things I'm looking for some sort of a trend analysis, right? So if I go and I share this with you, right? So we have to the left here, we have a high, a lower. Notice how we're having these lower highs, and then we rallied down, and we came back up. Look at this here, and then now we had another lower high, and then we started to come back down. So I was watching it just recently on this 1-minute chart here, and what I did is, firstly, I started to say, okay, first we're getting this lower highs. So we're getting this move, we're getting another lower high with a strong moving average, and now we're starting to come back down. So I started to notice that, let me just bring this up through here. I started to notice that there was, see this line through here on the 1-minute chart? See how it's supported, and it found support. It actually found a lot of support all through here. And on the 15-minute chart, I also can see as well too. And let me see if I can make this, I'll make this yellow so we can see it on my black screen. Notice how this whole area really through here, that point through there, and then where that line is. Now remember, this white line here is this white line here. that was a significant area where the market was actually having a lot of problems on the 15-minute chart. Now remember, I'm trading with the trend, so I'm looking for a short trade. I knew then that, okay, we're now bouncing off this support level. I knew that if we broke through that, there's a real good probability we're going to run back down to this next major line through here, which was that support line. So this is what's called a short-term trade, guys. This is what I call a short-term cash flow trade. It's not a trade where you hold on for long-term and so on and so forth, right? It's a short-term trade. Then I was looking at, well, at the time, let me actually just take that off screen, or you can see what's happening right now in the S&P, right? Very, very, look at that there. Very volatile, close to the market here. So anyway, so that was that white line there. So I knew if we broke past through here, this support level here, I knew that if we broke past through here, that there was a high probability that we're going to run to at least the next support level on my higher time frame, which is the 15-minute chart. So that was basically the trade. Firstly, I had a drop down, then I had a period of sideways movement. I like to have a sideways movement. And then we actually broke to the downside. So I knew there was a massive probability that we're going to run down to the next, just to the next support level. And then that's all the trade was. But I want you to think about this for a minute, traders. Okay, I want you to think about this for a minute. If you're happy taking a $5,000 risk on a trade, so just say that whole, my stop is always at the high of the bar. If that high of the bar is a $5,000 risk, like you're happy taking $5,000 risk every trade you take. Well, you can see that this actually did 1 to 1.5 times that bar. So it may not look like a big move, but if you start to do even, $20,000, or $10,000 risk, before you know it, you've made $10,000 to $15,000 pretty quickly as well too, right? And this is actually US, so it's actually a lot more from here in Australia. But the purpose I'm saying here is that this short-term trade here doesn't look like much, but again, it's just a really nice, what I call a short-term play. So that was the first trade that was the trade that I took this morning. I want to share with you the trade that I took last night, and it was actually on the 15-minute chart. Now, remember what I said before, like sometimes I'm using the 20 moving average as well. So I use the 52 and the 20. Let me just share this with you here for a minute here, because we have there. Let me just bring up. Let me bring up. Actually, let me just bring up. I'll change the settings. I'll just change this here to a light green. Okay, and then I'm just going to change this to a 20 here for a minute. All right, so there we go. All right, so that's what I've just changed that for a 20. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is that really, really, really simple here. I took this for, once again, just a real short-term sort of play here, short-term trade. Right? We had a strong move down through here. Then we had a nice sideways. See how it dropped down. Then it has a nice sideways phase with a strong 20 moving average. Notice this big breakout bar here. See this big breakout bar here? That's when I actually went short, right? Because it's down sideways, and now it looks like now to me, this is the bar here, so we're now likely to start to see some movement down. Now again, this was a short-term play, so the probability of this, I actually had a line right there, as you can see. So again, it was only a short-term play, traders. It wasn't a very big long-term move. So I was in there and literally out there at the very next bar. I didn't hold on for long. But again, traders, it's if you start to add these up, you can start to, you start to do really, really well. But it's just applying these simple short-term trades to your trading, what I call short-term cash flow trades. So that was that one there, and then the last one that I want to share with you is on the DAX. Right, so this one here was just quite phenomenal. Let me just share this with you here. Right, so what I saw on the DAX is this is the 15-minute chart. Let me go to the 5-minute chart here. Right, so as you can see, one thing I'm looking for is it's really the same sort of thing again and again and again, right? On the 15-minute chart, this is the 5-minute chart over here, right? So I saw on the 15-minute chart, we had this significant support level, and I knew that we're going sideways, that if we did break down, there's a massive probability we're going to get to where? Just to the next support level, which is that next major support level down there. That's where these two lines come into play. Makes sense? So, and then when I looked at my moving averages, as you can see, right, we have a high, a lower high, and we started to get these strong trending moving averages. And then we started to break through this 15-minute chart. This was last night. As you can see, but then that's what happened. And at the exact same time, I got this really, really, really beautiful setup that actually formed, which was, as you can see, look at this here, just a beautiful. Now, what I call it beautiful, what I'm looking for is I'm always looking for, as you can see, we have a high and we have a higher low, a lower high. We have a period of really just not much going on for a while, and a very strong moving average. So I knew we had strong trend on this, strong trend and momentum on this chart. We had a period of nice sideways, and look at this. See that nice breakout bar there? It went sideways, it broke out. Now that breakout bar was the start of this move here. So I knew that we had a really good chance at least getting back down to the bottom here. Now we almost got there down here, and then and then you move, you stop, move, you stop, move, you stop. And so I'm pretty sure that was when I was moving my stop quite aggressively as the market was moving down. But as you can see, if you want to find really nice setups, traders, again, this is where, like, if you've watched my videos, my market update videos, you would know that I always talk about when the market's going quiet like this, get ready, because it could be getting ready for a big move, and recently I've been talking about this with with some of the mining sector and so on and so forth, right? It doesn't really matter what chart it is, but you need to be very alert that when you start to get this, especially this sort of pattern here, traders, I promise you, just this sort of pattern here, a strong move down and then a sideways movement with small bars and then a strong 52. And as you can see, it bounces and then we get a nice break below. Massive probability we're going to go for a nice run. So they literally in the last probably 12 hours right now. Yeah, probably 12 hours. In the last 12 hours, they're the 3 trades that I've actually taken. And I wanted to do something a bit different in today's video because I wanted to share with you not just the market update, right? But some of the trades that I take and the thinking behind it. So when I'm doing my market updates and I say, I never want to be trading against that weekly trend. If I'm trading the daily charts, I never want to be trading against the weekly trend. Because if I go back to again, why would you want to be trading against the trend? Why would you want to be trying to trade? To me, the biggest moves are with the trend, as you can see, right? The biggest move here really was from there to there. That was that very strong move. But where was it? It was with the overall trend. And that's the same for the S&P 500, right? If you're trying to trade against the trend, let's actually just put this here. If you're trying to trade against the trend, and now let's look at this 1-minute chart here for a minute. The big problem, right, is that as you can see, look at this here. Every time the market ran up, it's actually lower high, lower high, lower high. We've still got these markets moving down. So, for me, as you can see, the best probability was always trading with the higher time frame trend. So, if you ever look, for me, once again, as you can see, what I was talking about here with the very first trade that I mentioned in this video, is this. You can see that by looking at these markets here, right? By looking at these charts and looking at these markets here, the thing that's really important to understand is that if I'm looking for a position, if we have a strong trend on the higher time frame, I'm only going with that trend. So if we have a good strong trend down or up, I'm only looking to do that, right? And some of you guys have seen me talk about that when I talked about even the energy sector. Just literally a few weeks ago, I started talking about like the energy sector is breaking out. We're going with the high time frame trend, which is the weekly charts, and so on and so forth. In fact, let me actually just bring this up through to here. So I'll bring the trading view up. So I use 3 charts, guys. I use 3. People ask me about my charting software that I use. I use 3 platforms really. I use the TC2000 for my stocks trades, and then I use my interactive brokers for my options trading. So I do a lot of option trading there, And then I use a platform called IG to do a lot of my futures trading and stuff like that. Yeah, and so they're the basically, and then sometimes I'm looking at TradingView, because TradingView can give me some, like if I'm looking at Bitcoin, and stuff like that as well too. So I just wanted to, like, XLE, right? It's the same sort of thing. Let me actually make this a daily chart to the right, and then a weekly chart to the left. And as you can see, right? As you can see, look at this here. When all it was, and just trading with a good strong trend, right? That's all it really is we have a low, and actually let's just make that color back to blue now, because we're using the white screen. Blue, right? So we have a low, and then we had a higher low, and then we had what? Then we had a nice breakout bar, and I knew we're likely to get a nice move out of that. So we had a beautiful low, higher low, and as you can see, right, because we have this is the weekly chart here, because the weekly chart is developing these here, I'm waiting for a pullback, and then I'm waiting to try to jump on the next one here. So that's why the weekly chart is going up. So I'm trading with a strong trend, and all I'm looking for is I'm waiting for a pullback, and I'm trying to jump in on the next leg up. And as you guys know, that's exactly what I did with the energy sector. Same with the XOM stock as well too, right? The exact same thing. It's the exact same thing that I talked about before, right? Low, we have a significant high low. So we had a pullback here, and I was waiting for the breakout to give me the sign that now we're likely to make a big move up, because we went through a big pullback, a very big pullback. We got the breakout. That's when I went long, and then I rode it up as well too. And again, guys, if you've been watching me for just the last couple of weeks, this entire year, then you would know that I've talked about XOM and the energy sector all this entire year. So you can even go back to my I think it was my very first video of the year, and I talked about energy. The energy sector is about to make some big moves, and I've done a few videos on that as well. So traders, when I first started trading, I lost $250,000 trading the markets. And then I got access to a few 7-figure mentors that really set me straight on what I need to do with the foundations, how to read the charts, the trading systems, the mindset, so on and so forth. And then that was the massive turning point for me to be doing really well from actual trading and being successful trading. So what I've done is I've created a course called the Breakthrough Course. And what I've done is I've actually put a whole bunch of really good education and strategies and processes that help me go from $250,000 in debt to then actually becoming a full-time trader, making a full-time income from trading. And I'm actually running a flash sale to that trading course. So if you go to johnsflashsale.com, or there should be a link in the description. If there's not, then go to johnsflashsale.com. That's JOHNS flashsale.com. Go to johnsflashsale.com, and you'll be able to get access to this course now for $7. So go get access to that right now, guys, and I'll see you real soon.